Now it's past midday, and Victor is waiting in his coach for Maria outside of her flat. Maria comes outside wearing a simple dress and a blanket around her shoulders. At the firm she had seemed very much like a European woman, and now, despite her fair hair and bright eyes, she looked rather like a little abuela on her way to church. Victor, full of nerves and just a bit of excitement, steps out to open the door to the coach for Maria himself. Though he had started on this as a bet, Victor was beginning to remember the way his mother had told him to treat a lady one is out on the town with, Maria living in the town, of course. The same city where earlier we attended Samuel's funeral, San Leandro it was called, the same as the church.
Do you really come all the way out to the city every day just to write letters for Humphrey?
Yes, sir. I sometimes stay at the boarding house closer to the firm, but I prefer living in the town. It's quieter and I have trouble with noise.
Trouble? Trouble how?
It angers me, sir.
Please, Maria, call me Victor as I asked you to. And how is that? Angered by noise? Why, it's only noise.
Yes, Victor, but for some reason I cannot explain. Noise makes me angry. And I don't like being angry, so I stay in the town where it's usually quiet.
But where's the passion, Maria? Where's the daring? Why? If it makes you angry, you should use that anger. You should make it into something others will have to acknowledge. If I were you...
But you're not me, Victor, are you?
Oh, I suppose not. Sorry, my love.
Please, Victor, call me Maria.
Victor had told the coachman to take the longest way around to the lecture hall, which was in the Tenderloin, so that he and Maria could have a long conversation, and now Victor is beginning to regret his careful planning. Victor has started feeling some admiration for Maria, but he cannot bring himself to impose on her. The way he knows might impress her. He's not even sure it would impress her now.
Well, did you finish that book?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh? It didn't seem very long. I'm sure I could read it in about an hour at most.
Well, it's not that I can't read fast, Victor. It's just that I prefer to read slow.
Why on earth is that, Maria? Doesn't your mind get bored lingering on one book for so long?
Well, no, actually. I find that reading slowly lets me notice more about the book and appreciate what the writer is doing.
Oh, ha ha ha, Maria. In my school days, we called that compensating for a poor writer. Think of Carroll. He writes in such utter nonsense words, but with such skill that its meaning is clear to all who read it. If an author has to wait for you to come to the same conclusions as he has come to, he's making you do half the work.
And why shouldn't I do work, Victor? What good is the work I do for Mr. Humphrey if I can't then do that same work in my personal pursuits? Have you considered that maybe I enjoy being made to think and not condescended towards by a mind who only knows how to communicate to other schoolmen?
Victor looks out the window. He has nothing to say.
No. Maria, I didn't mean to imply that your active thought had no value. I was merely making conversation. I'm sorry. Since I've met you, I've done nothing but condescend and offend you.
Victor, I am not offended. You misunderstand. This is how I enjoy to speak. Here up north, the men all prefer women who are soft-spoken and meek. But in Mexico, we ladies are listened to just as men are listened to. I'm sorry as well.
Why should you be sorry, Maria?
Well, it's not right for me to be so irritated that you would join me. After all, I have been studying philosophical traditions that tell me to value the perspective of all others, and you've been so kind as to take me to the lecture in style and comfort. I suppose I just grown attached to the idea of going by myself. I dearly wish to tell Monsieur Barnett some ideas I have had, and hear his ideas on it in return.
Oh, Maria. Well, never mind it.
What is it, Victor?
No, it's nothing. Keep telling me of your ideas, please.
No, I must hear your opinion.
All right. Well, Maria, I hope you aren't putting your hopes into this Barnett fellow seeing you for who you are.
Why would you say that? Emile Barnett is the foremost figure in the school of perspectivism. It is his exact discipline to be open to my views and to consider them as though they were his. He has written it in his book.
Victor searches his mind for the right way to explain.
Well, Maria, it's just that. Well, you know, men don't always write philosophy by making bare their hearts and minds. Other times, it is only a creative collection written in borrowed words. Many men who write philosophy give in to the same temptations that all men are disposed to, and I would hate to see a mind so worth preserving as yours be crushed by a foreign intellectual's desire for an easy win.
Maria folds her arms.
You don't know a word you're talking about. I know this man. I've read his words. I've heard his words touch my soul.
And he has never heard yours. To him, you will be just another face. A beautiful face, it must be said, but a face nonetheless.
Enough. I won't listen to you say these things.
The two passengers quietly sit until the coach arrives at the lecture hall. Victor opens the door.
I'll stay with the coach until the driver finds a place to keep the horses, and I'll join you shortly. Enjoy yourself, Maria.
Maria wordlessly gets out of the coach and walks into the lecture hall. The coach trots around the block and finds a quiet stretch of road to stop at. Victor presses a $1 note into the driver's hand as a gratuity and walks back to the lecture hall. In the lecture hall, Victor catches Maria in deep conversation with two men, all three nodding and engaged with the other. Victor walks up to the table Maria sits at bemused, as Maria pours one man a drink.
And what's the conversation about now, my friends?
Maria rolls her eyes and looks at Victor, annoyed.
Victor, they don't speak English. They only speak Polish.
Oh, I wasn't aware you could speak Polish.
I can't, but through the power of perspective, I am observing their conversation take place and contributing my reactions.
Victor's glance narrows.
Are you sure, Maria? Or is it that these men are accommodating you because you've bought them a bottle of vodka?
Maria's fists clench.
Victor, I told you to stop being so restrictive. We think freely here. Not like the stuffy establishments you obtained your education at.
Maria has clearly been drinking with the men, and Victor is made bashful by her comments. Victor desires to go, but feeling a duty to watch over Maria, stays and takes a seat beside her. Now the guest of honor, Emile Barnett, steps out onto the podium and is announced by the master of ceremonies. All turn their attention to the man. Barnett speaks in English, but Victor hears it as a drone of endless concepts and rejections, only hearing a few lines of the actual speech, where Barnett begins quoting another thinker, something he does quite often.
Much perversion, in particular instances, may undoubtedly still occur upon the subject from misconception or bad intention. But we are once again at liberty to ask, what is proper and expedient? The subject may again be viewed without reference to external considerations. Rulers may again act according to conviction, and place their honor in the general weal. No one can say as much of the time that is past. When the code broke into Germany and ate in further and further like a cancer, there was no mention of its intrinsic merits, scarcely here and there in empty phrases. Extraneous motives, wholly foreign to the proper value of the code, determined everything, a state of things flagitious in itself, independently of the consideration that the object in view was the most pernicious of all objects. Until now, therefore, it was fruitless to speak upon the subject. Those who, during this period, did speak upon it, were partly advocates of the bad cause from interested motives, partly, with inconceivable simplicity, stultified by it. Most of them merely assisted in the undertaking as practical men, without adopting an opinion of their own. Some few voices, well meriting attention, were raised, rebuking and warning. Others, making signs and indicating, but none with any hope of success. That once again, a diversity of opinions may exist. That once again, the decision can be a subject of dispute is one of the blessings which God has vouchsafed to us. For only from this diversity can a living and firm unity proceed, the unity of conviction, for which our nature compels us to struggle in all matters of mind.
Victor rolled his eyes in boredom. Now Barnett begins to address the crowd.
Now, my friends, I would like to hear from you. Will you share writing and stories with me, so I may have your perspective to carry back to Paris with me?
Yes, and so he can publish it as his own writings.
Barnett begins to walk to each table so that the guests may speak to him. Many begin to read poorly written poetry or crackpot theories, Barnett treating them all as worth hearing. When he arrives at our table, the Polish men who are now too drunk to speak shake their heads and smile. So now Victor is asked to recite something.
Yes. Well, I think I can remember a segment from a story I had written once. If I can recall, the premise was that there were a class of men called conversationalists who were paid by the hour to make pleasant conversation with others. And there were also men paid simply to be biographers for others. It went something like, "It was Tuesday when I began to observe Emilio. Emilio is a conversationalist by trade, just as I am a biographer. We both live in this small village. I must not speak too much of myself, except to establish why I have started, for the book is about the conversationalist Emilio. I am Humphrey de la Croix. I am a biographer from Switzerland who moved to this village not too long ago. The details are not important, but judging by this aside, I must move on. The story is getting quite encumbered. Emilio is as I write, speaking to the butcher Randolph, and I do not have enough notes yet to record what is being said. I will describe. Emilio is an excellent conversationalist, the best I have seen. Most conversationalists take your words and spit them at you, but Emilio, he really does something rather grand. He seems to know just about the letter of every topic. He really talks, this Emilio. Most conversationalists don't ever just talk. I've seen some good conversationalists in Paris and Lisbon, but Emilio Rodriguez surpasses them all. Just now, he has asked the butcher a pertinent question about the casings of the sausages that the butcher had overlooked, but in such a way so carefully as to make it appear as a rare slip from a great master butcher. Now I am quite able to write, as I hear. Emilio is doing the most wonderful of dissertations. Oh, now he has gotten lost in what he is saying. Now he is panicked, saying, Emilio is not my true name. I no longer remember it. I have greeted the worst of men in friendly gait, and answered not an uncontent mistress late. Mad, I tell you, I am not you nor the other. I only pretend to be my brother foremost. Why, just last night I heard myself bored with my host, that trot from down the Barber Street, and singing back her words as though her mouth was a piano on which keys composed my clever thoughts. And this, a trot. I am too clever. The clever not mine to surrender, but stolen from all of you, and you know it too. Oh, I cannot even bear to read the wretched things quoted to me in the many biographies, of which I'm often the voice of others' clarity or repose, or else a whelp so stupid he had to be set straight. I do this for an hourly rate. This biographer writing me now, I have read his work, and it is quite good, except Martin Kunst is better. Kunst writes with higher attention and less asides. This is simply not true, my good reader, for Kunst is a simple-minded barbarian for which fire was only surpassed by his discovery of the written page. Think how he butchered Leopold von Potsky's clear and well-balanced sentiments into prescription and finger-wagging. Then Emilio is saying now, I no longer remember who I stand as or for or toward. I am in every respect unmoored. O God, save my heart, protect my soul. I cannot do this any longer. I am finished. Now Emilio has fallen face first into his creamed spinach he had been eating. We were sat at a table, you see. Oh, it appears to be that Emilio has died. Sudden stroke, poor bloke. Now who will pay my fee?
Now Victor is laughing, and in good spirits, and Barnett is looking rather tired. He turns to Maria and kisses her hand. Maria grows flushed, and Victor grows irritated.
Now what is your offering, my beautiful flower?
Maria fights back the bashfulness and takes out a small notebook from her persons, skipping to a page in the middle, and begins her own story.
There was a man once, Jesu. You won't remember him. This was long ago. It started with the word. Many love Jesu, but love is weak when fear is strong. This was my friend Jesu. I was there until the end. With his mother, I saw our friends forsake him. They all ran away. Jesu had loved all, and love had been not lost on him. It had been me and Cephas. Cephas told by Jesu in command, You will deny me 3 times before the cry of the cock. So weeping Cephas thrice denied our Lord as the accusers surrounded him, then fleeing. Jesu did not cease loving Cephas, yet love is weak when hate is strong. Hated was Jesu by the Zealots, the Judeans, for he was a Galilean. Those that had come from Galilee seldom could teach, for they were far too Greek, yet not in the way the Romans favored. So they murdered our Savior. Jesu had lived and wept among us. He befriended even the tax-collecting rats. Jesus strayed not from houses beset by plague, only praying to his Father to be spared, so he may visit others. Jesus spoke in stories which gave fret to all of our nerves, how that long-haired Galilean put words to the hatred shown by the Zealots. Now I hear that it is said that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. They cannot hear Jesus' words unless he be their Messiah or prophet, when he was our friend. They said kings are born in Bethlehem, but Jesus no king. No golden wreath adorned his crown after the crux was taken down, only a band of thorns. Tried to love the Romans, and Jesus was scorned to be crucified. I was there when Jesus drew his last breath, then died. Now I hear you say that my friend Jesus rose? Well, tell that to his weeping mother, who carried his body into the tomb. You say he returned to us, but that was only our wishes, our self-made fables to remember a better day. I cannot sit and listen as you say. Since you have believed such fables, let me give another, this being my own, and I was beloved by him. This being as it happened when Jesus was on Golgotha, raised high towards the ever-stretching sky, the nails in his hands tore through, and he had to be tied with ropes. The Romans had been making sport of torturing him, for he was only a Galilean. Jesus cried to those who now had forsaken him, and one said, Get down from thy cross. Now Jesus cried to the nowhere beyond the clouds, Why hast thou forsaken me? So the liar himself appeared to Jesus, among the crowd though they saw him not, and said, Drink, O Jesus of Ambrosia. I shall take the gar rag. I have lived long enough to do this for thee, for surely thou knowest I, Ulysses. Jesus could not take the cup, but Ulysses poured it out for him, making it seem by great acts of trickery that he were Jesus and Jesus he. Jesus now free, and Ulysses said, Thou must go now to see the fruits of thy suffering, a time when the Roman cult has become thy face. So Jesus now in Italy, in the time of the Borgias, marveling at what he did see, the buildings and holy shrines, but sad to see that what he had left in Jerusalem could be found in Florence, still seeing the sick sent away and innocent blood shed in torrents. Jesus took an account of what others preached in his name, found only the same as he had heard from the Pharisees. Many names he found attached to his life who he had no knowledge of. This Saul, who became Paul, who spoke so earnestly in his name to teach the clinging Jesus hated in others, the only thing hated by Jesus. Now Jesus realized things had only become worse, though they practiced in his name. Then Jesus learned of the conquest. He learned how the empire took new names to pillage his home. Jesus marched upon the Pope to demand an accounting. Jesus found the Pope among others who whispered into his ear, saying, Here comes that Semite Jesus to cast more division with his heathen talk. Let us burn him. Your honor, he questions, when you are the pontificate of God. The Pope allowed Jesus to speak, saying, What troubles thee, Jesus? So spoke our Jesus, saying, Tear down this cross, get on thy feet. I have not appointed thee nor thy book. I am not but in 1/10 of its sayings, only half of them known by me. This man called Jesus is not but a fiction, and this kingdom not my own. You have created this as I lay rotting, to sanction robbing. swindling, pilfering of mines as well as coffers. Knowing this, I should think I would have taken Satan's offer. For if this be the way of kingdoms dressed in my name, how I should have been like a king then. Then man is not fit to be saved. Nay, the poor and wretched I still wish to gather, to enact some semblance of decency rather. For the kingdom makers I wish only to see taken away. I wish to dwell in paradise now. So angered was the Pope, and had Jesus put to the crux once more. Sat all of Rome to watch Christ be crucified yet again. Though now again the poor gathered and wept to see the death of their friend. But now some of them laughed too. They had only loved Jesus for his attention. Now Jesus could weep in neither direction. Minerva saying, "Why do you suffer this a second time? You are already with your Father in your remembrance of him, so why embrace this humiliation? Why not dwell in paradise? Why continue this lamentation to the men who came before you and will come after you, O Jesus?" Jesus saying, "They took the word and made it into the sword. They burned my Father's house to make a mockery in its stead. It is finished. What is left?" Minerva saying, "I will keep you and deliver you from this. I will bring you back to the time of your fall. Return to Eden now. The fruit has taught you this lesson." So Jesus, our friend, was taken to Eden to live as Adam with Eve. Yet Jesus could not look upon Eve in her naked innocence. Jesus had been sinless, but he had seen sin, and she had not seen sin. Jesus, with the power to forgive, could not hate Eve for this, and could not will himself away from his view of her. So Satan came to Jesus. Satan said to Jesus, "Jesus, do not weep. Thy hour is at hand, for she is woman, and thou is man. Take her in thy stead. Do not sin by giving her the fruit of shame from that tree there. She needs not know what good you make use of her, for with knowledge she shall cover up, and thou'll be like thou had been made unto being in Jerusalem. What glorious blessings you have found." Jesus took his leave of Satan, offering the fruit not unto Eve as Satan had desired in his tricks, leaving Eve in Eden and journeying to Canaan. There Jesus stayed for a long time, becoming known by the Canaanites, being a friend to them and telling his stories. Then Jesus died and was buried, and Eve stayed in Eden, and man never fell.
Victor is now absolutely aghast at the story that Maria has just told. Barnet is grinning ear to ear.
My dear, we must speak more after the lecture is over. There is something truly magnificent about that story you have just told me.
Maria blushes.
Really? Oh no, monsieur, you're too kind. I was only copying another book I was reading.
What is art except imperfect copying?
Well, yes, I'm sure you believe that.
What was that, sir?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
Well, young lady, you simply must stay afterwards and join me. We can talk about your story.
Maria glances at Victor and then back at Barnet.
Oh, but monsieur, I came here with this man Victor, and I couldn't leave him.
Oh, then by all means bring him. He won't get in the way. I promise.
There is a tone of malevolence in Barnet's voice, and Victor can't tell if it's just his imagination.
Oh, sure. I guess I can stay a while. I had no plans tonight.
So it's settled. After the lecture, I will see you and Victor. Now, my love, what is your name?
Maria grows bashful again.
Isabel, monsieur. You may call me Isabel.
Isabel, I shall see you later.
Then Barnet walks to another table. Now, after a while of us waiting, Maria Isabel has drank another glass of vodka, nervous as an expectant husband whose wife is giving birth. And Victor is unimpressed with the man Barnet. Barnet now returns to our table and extends a hand to Maria.
Now, Isabel, let us go.
Victor follows the two into the area behind the podium, a play stage for certain events, hidden behind a large velvet curtain. Barnet goes to the stove in the back corner and takes a long metal smoking pipe from the coals.
I hope you two don't mind. I just need to relax a little.
Victor grows wearier as Barnet produces a small amount of opium from his pocket, placing it in the pipe, growing protective as Barnet offers it to Maria.
Now, dear Isabel, will you partake with me? I have trouble explaining myself to a sober mind.
Absolutely not. Maria, this man is trying to take advantage of you.
Oh, does he speak for you then?
No, monsieur. It's just I've never smoked opium before.
And you shan't while I'm accompanying you, Maria. Please do not be swayed by this devil.
Oh, bugger off, will you? She said you don't speak for her. And besides, you are only engaging in some indecent moral outrage. Don't you drink, my good sir, or do you smoke tobacco? It is not much different. I believe it was Montaigne who said, "Men of intelligence notice more things and view them more carefully, but they selectively interpret them. And to establish and substantiate their interpretation, they cannot refrain from altering the facts a little. They never present things just as they are, but twist and disguise them to conform to the point of view from which they have seen them. And to gain credence for their opinion and make it attractive, they do not mind adding something of their own or extending and amplifying."
That is far beyond the point, and you know it, sir. The woman is drunk, and beyond drunk, she has a schoolgirl crush on you that you have plainly noticed since laying your filthy eyes upon her.
Victor, enough. I am a grown woman who makes my own decisions, and I will take Monsieur Bonnet up on his offer. It is only a friendly gesture, and you are too stuck in your ways to see. Leave us.
Victor, not wanting to anger Maria any more, walks out behind the curtain to wait for her.
Now that the hypocrite is gone, why don't we relax a little, Isabel?
Isabel nervously takes the pipe and takes a draw of the opium, becoming quickly tired and dreamy.
Oh, this feeling is just marvelous, monsieur. I understand now. I understand everything you've been saying. I'm so happy. It feels like a dream I'm having, and why are you putting your hand there, monsieur?
Barnett forces a kiss upon Maria. Only a few moments as Maria pushes him off and screams,
Victor!
Victor rushes into the room without any delay, grabbing Maria away from Barnett as Barnett pleads.
No, Isabel, you are only feeling the hesitation one feels before true discovery. Don't run away now.
Victor kicks Barnett in the groin, and Barnett sprawls down in pain. Then Victor spits at the ground.
Enough of this. Maria, I'll take you home now.
On the ride back to her flat, Maria is quiet, and Victor can't stop fretting over her. Even the coach driver asked what the matter was with her when they returned to him, and Victor pressed another $1 note into his hand. To be discreet. When they arrive, Victor carries Maria up into her room and into her bed, leaving her dressed but taking off her shoes and coat. Victor turns to leave, and Maria speaks.
No, Victor, wait.
Yes?
I want you to take this.
Maria takes out the rosary her grandmother gave her from the bedside dresser and places it in Victor's hand.
Oh, but Maria, I couldn't.
You must, Victor. I can't look at it anymore after tonight. I've lost my faith.
Maria.
Take it, Victor, and I'm sorry I didn't listen to you.
Victor pockets the rosary and leaves Maria to sleep off the opium.